Okay, well,
Good evening. Welcome to the November meeting of the Cumberland County Commissioners. I'm Neil Jamison. I'm the chair of the Commissioners Board this year. We would ask you, Catherine, to take attendance of those commissioners who are here.
Commissioner Smith.
Here.
Commissioner Jamison.
Here.
Commissioner Cloutier.
present.
And absent are Commissioners Batonis and Commissioner Gordon.
Very good. Thank you. Normally we ask those who want to join us to recite the Pledge of Allegiance, but in honor of the victims from the Lewiston shooting, we would all ask you and us to observe a moment of silence in their memory and on their behalf. Thank you. Our first item of agenda is approval of the minutes from our October meeting. Is there a motion?
Move passes.
Second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the and proposed changes on the minutes? Seeing none, I call for the vote. Catherine, roll call vote, please.
Harry Jamison.
Yes.
Commissioner Cloutier.
Yes.
And Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
Passes 3-0. Thank you. Our next item, there are no informational presentations tonight, Jim? No. And then we'll go, and no comments from the public because we're on Zoom. There's no one waiting, Travis. Very good. And so we'll move on to the consent agenda. Items 23098, 23099, 23100. Do I have a motion to pass the consent agenda?
Motion to pass consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Any requests to take items off the agenda? Seeing none, then I will call for a vote. Catherine, roll call vote, please.
Harry Jamison.
Yes.
Commissioner Cloutier.
Yes.
And Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
Consent agenda is passed 3-0. Moving on to ARPA business, item 23101. County Manager Gailey. Did we lose him?
He's fallen off of the Zoom. So I'm going to keep an eye on the attendees list to see when he joins us.
He's the lead-in on both our ARPA business items. So
we can ask Mike to talk about this.
okay.
Yep.
So item 23101, authorization for the county manager to award a bid for the cross insurance arena for LD marquees, etc. Mike, it's up to you.
Thank you. We're attempting to cross the finish line in 2014. We were approved during renovations to install an outdoor sign, a marquee in the southeast corner of the arena, which is on the corner of Central Street and Spring Street. And we've never gotten that project off the ground. Jim was very supportive. Sandra Warren was very supportive. And we were able to get a bid out during the summer and do some extensive research on what would be a good solution for the arena. And of course, the objective of a marquee or LED sign is to advertise events, increase brand or promotional awareness, and to broadcast any emergency notifications via county, city, or anything going on at the arena. So we were able to collect some great responses. The top two were ANC and Metropolitan Interactive. And after going through all of the criteria, that would make for a very good solution for the arena. I recommended with Jim the choice of A and C. And before I go into any details, Jim, I was just popping in to help Commissioner Jameson. Do you have anything on the marquee?
Keep plugging, Mike. You're doing great.
So it all boiled down to the quality of the images that we can put out there. They have to all fall within a certain permit guidelines with the city. They're able to have all of those facets met. The cabinet size, the resolution, and the content management software that will run the sign is very user-friendly and something that's cutting edge and something that we're pretty used to, because ANC is the same company that installed our scoreboard in 2017. So when you come in, you see the center hung scoreboard and then the 8 fascia ribbon boards over each bomb entrance. That's all ANC. So I mean, I can personally, myself and my team here, attest to the quality of their products, the quality of their customer service, their response time, and they're very much highly recommended from my team here and from myself. And that's why I proposed to Jim and the commissioners the solution for ANC to be our exterior sign marquee.
Any questions for Mike?
Move passage of this item.
There's a second.
Second.
Discussion. I jumped the gun on questions. Questions now for Mike or for Manager Gailey. Mike, I just had a question. When would work start and when would it be completed?
It's roughly 6 to 8 months for the delivery of the hardware and equipment. So we're probably not going to see a finished product until fall or even winter. So it all depends on the shipping from overseas. That could be the ultimate delay. So we could have a sign in 6 months. We could have a sign in closer to a year. So I will keep all parties abreast of the progress once we are granted the authority to dive into that project.
Good, thank you. It sounds like it'll be a great improvement for the arena. Any other comments by the commissioners? Seeing
I
none,
agree
I
with-
call. Go ahead, Jim.
I just gonna say, I agree with what you just said. It seems like a great addition to the, the public face of the arena. I remember a concert with Sheryl Crow. We were at the Portland Dog Park, and we were going to the show, and had a group of I don't know how many people sitting around in the old people's resting area while the dogs cavorted around, and they all heard about Sheryl Crow coming to town. So how come we never knew about that? And so this is a step forward.
Agreed. Catherine, call the roll call, please.
All right, Chair Jameson,
Yes.
Commissioner Cloutier,
Yes.
and Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
Thank you. The matter passes 3-0. We look forward to the finished product. Mike, thank you for your work and expertise in guiding us along.
Thank you.
And item 23-102, authorization for the county manager to award the bid of design and renovation proposal to WSP USA Environment and Infrastructure, Inc. for the building design services at the new Unified County Office Building. Manager Gailey.
Thank you. This item is the first item that we have bringing forward to you all with regards to the new building that has been purchased. This item is bringing on a design staff to not only make some recommended design improvements to the interior of the building, but also work with staff, the many departments that will be moving into this building, to lay out the floor plan to maximize the area that we have. This item was bid out. I believe we had 5 responses to the bid. 2 companies were interviewed and by a Travis, Bill Trufant, and Sandy Warren, and they are bringing forward the name of WSP, actually, to the commissioners for award a bid. They were a very highly qualified engineering firm or design firm here on the Portland Peninsula. Staff actually went out and visited sites that they had recently designed and for layout purposes, and saw their work firsthand. And after a little bit of negotiations with WSP, we feel very confident that they will represent us and work with us every step of the way to design and lay out the best building possible over the next 5 months. Their time schedule is really jumping at it within the next week, starting to meet with staff with a kickoff meeting, really working with staff heavy during the holiday period and into January. And then they will need February, March, and April to really start putting pen to paper and designing some things and passing them back and forth, with a end of April, 1st of May construction drawing submission to the county. From there, we go out to bid for the work that we would be proposing, whether it would be office furniture or construction of moving walls or installing walls, things like that. So what we thought was going to be a quick process and get in there is going to be a pretty lengthy process. We're estimating that we probably won't be in there for at least 8 months because of design and construction that needs to go into the building first. So at this point, I will make mention how much it costs. We are estimating this contract to be about $3.4 million. And they have provided us an 8% rate on that work. That's a little higher than the low bidder, but we felt as though this was the more appropriate firm to work with, and they were willing to listen to what we needed to have done and work in partnership on what that building looks like in terms of laying it out. So with that said, I'd ask for any questions. If anyone wants to know any details about the bidding process or interview process, Travis is here. He can give you a sneak peek on dialogue between the committee on the selection. But other than that, we're here to answer any questions with regards to this.
Commissioners, questions for Manager Gailey? Jim Cloutier.
Jim, thank you. I thought I was understanding what you were describing, and it seemed to me like this then meant that the all-in cost, the current guess, and I'm sure it is better informed than a guess, but knowing how estimates work, we all know how that works. It sounds like the all-in cost is going to be $9 million or so. Is that the current guesstimate?
Current guesstimate at this point is hovering around 7 million, 7.5 million. We have just over $3 million left in the opera funds, and we have put that towards this building. We do not know what the fit up of this building is going to cost. It could cost much less, depending upon our desires of improvements in the building. And so that's the maximum that we would have, is about 3 million going into the building. The building itself costs 4.6 million.
Patty.
Yes, just to clarify or understand, Jim, you mentioned that we're getting an 8%. You mentioned that in the intro. Do you mean an 8% margin of up or down in terms of the final cost, that it could go 8% one way or the other when you mentioned 8%, or is there some other percentage I'm missing?
It's 8% onto the construction price. So if it's a $3 million
Okay.
price tag, it's 8% of that.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. That's it.
I'll move passage.
You're a second?
Second.
And I'd just like to comment, Jim, thank you and the executive staff for the due diligence and work you've done on locating the building, negotiating the price, purchasing the building, and now getting it ready to be retrofitted. This is a historic event for the county. I'll talk a little bit about that at the end, but it really is a generational opportunity for Cumberland County, and we want to thank you and everyone involved in this effort.
Thank you. There's a whole team of employees that have been behind this. And so, we're all excited. And so we're all really moving towards the finish line here on the project.
Understood, and thanks again. Catherine, call the roll call vote, please.
Chair Jameson,
Yes.
Commissioner Cloutier,
Yes.
and Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
Matter passes 3-0. Thank you. Comments from the county manager.
I just have two this evening. The first is budgets. Typically, we start moving towards December and we're finishing up our budget. But now that we've changed budget years, gone to a fiscal year, July to June, we're actually going to be starting our budget this Friday, meeting with departments, and in anticipation of delivering the proposed budget to the county commissioners in December's meeting. So really what we've done in the past in September is now December. And then we'll kick off with the finance committee soon thereafter with their first meeting before the holidays start. And then we're trying to pin down final dates in January and early February to work through anywhere between 3 and 5 meetings with the finance committee, ultimately bringing back a recommendation from the finance committee in March at the commissioners meeting. So that timetable, I'm hoping that we can live by. It's a little on the early side than what the municipalities start building their budget. But I think it's important for us to get out and get a good estimated or finalized percentage increase to hand off to the town managers so that they could factor it into their budget discussions with their select boards or councils. So having the ability to do that the 1st of March, I think that will line up, and I think the towns will appreciate that early notification. So that's that with the budget schedule. The other item is we have been working for 2 months now on a request that Commissioner Witonis asked for probably 4 or 5 months ago, and that was around conversations with the outside contracts with the sheriff's office. Many times we're seeing the contracts a month, 2 months, 3 months past when they actually started. So Commissioner Witonis asked for a workshop with the sheriff's office to really learn a little bit more and how maybe we could expedite that work and get those contracts in sooner to the commissioners. So we're hoping, we've struck out in October and November because of the sheriff's schedule, unfortunately, but we're hoping in December that we'll be able to accomplish this workshop and learn a little bit more about the process the sheriff's office goes through for getting the contracts out to the towns and then getting them back and onto a commissioner's meeting. So with that said, thank you for the time. That's all I got this evening.
Thank you, Jim. Alex.
Just 2 quick things. The funds for the most recent bond issuance came in a few weeks ago. I'd really like to thank Alyssa Tibbetts and Dick Ranigan for making this an extremely smooth process. In particular, Dick Ranigan been doing this an awfully long time, and I think we sometimes forget how nice it is to have him as sort of a security blanket for all of us. The other thing is 6-month audit is proceeding pretty well. Again, it's a full audit, even though it's only a 6-month mark, and then we'll reset to normal after that finally, and then be done with all of this. And we didn't have any real problems with communities on the tax payments, which had the extra hitch. No troubles there at all. All good. That's all I got.
Very good. Thank you. Travis,
I don't have any comments. No, thank you.
very good. Mike, do you have any comments? Mike Durkin first and then Mike LaCon. How's that?
Yeah, wait your turn. No big comments on my end. Thank you very much for the attention.
And Mike LaCon?
I'm good. Thank you for the support on the exterior sign.
You're welcome. Commissioner Smith. Oh, Catherine, any comments? Sorry. Commissioner Smith.
Thank you. Two items, just want to share or share my thoughts. One, I'm very excited about the Northport campus. I'm not sure what the official name will be for our new home, but I think it is going to be a great project. It's a money saver, but it's also nice to be fit out to the way the employees would like their work environment to be, which again adds just another layer of working for the county and how special that can be. So I'm really excited about the project too, and I know it's going to take time, but great things take time. So I'm super happy about that. And the second matter I just want to share is just to pause for a moment and remember Representative Lois Reckitt, who recently passed away on October 30th. She was an amazing representative, a wonderful human being. She was a very tireless advocate for human rights, women's rights, particularly women in abusive situations. I think she dedicated most of her career in that area, and she was a true inspiration. And I just want to say she'll be very, very much missed. And I hope that she lives on through all the people that she impacted through all her work in human rights and women's rights. So just want to acknowledge all of her efforts and contributions and what a wonderful woman she was. Thank you.
Well said. Thank you, Patty. Commissioner Cloutier.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I want to echo what Commissioner Smith just described about a woman who was truly a beacon of light and force when it came to the very troubling aspects that she waded into early on and taught many Southern Maine people about the ins and outs of women's rights, and particularly the ongoing tragedies in the community related to violence and abuse. And so Lois was, I can remember 30 years ago, she was talking and people were listening, and it has been that was the case going forward for years. The other thing is Portland City Council will gather again tonight to try to figure out what to do about tents and homeless people and the multiple issues that arise, including drug addiction, violence, the abuse that occasionally erupts, and the dilemma of the Maine winter coming upon us. So it'll be first very interesting to see what the deliberation reveals, but it also kind of underscores the fact that homelessness and drug abuse and all of those related issues are regional issues. They affect Portland people, they affect Cumberland County people, most predominantly, but people from all over Maine and not a small number of people from other parts of the country are embroiled in this every day and every night. So there may come a time when we will need to deliberate on what we could do that would be constructive to deal with that. But that's all I have, except to say congratulations again to the staff, including Jim, including Alex and Travis, and all the other people who are involved in the Northport project. My understanding is the tentative name is Jameson Arms, but I don't really have a full said. I'm not sure I have full knowledge on all of that, but time will tell. So, and congratulations to Neil as well for leadership on that issue. So that's all I have. And
Thank you, Jim.
happy Thanksgiving before we next meet. So
Thanks, Jim. I would also like to echo the comments of both Patty and Jill. Anyone that had an opportunity to meet her or be in her space. She truly was a person of immense and incredible energy and progress in a time, as Jim mentioned earlier, where there weren't many people talking about rights of the less fortunate, rights for women, rights for human rights of all categories, and for gay lesbian rights. And she was not only was she speaking out ahead of her time, she did so on a local, on a state, and on a national basis. She dedicated her life to change in this area, and she, with her will, made that change happen. And so Lois, and right up to the bitter end, she was working from her hospital bed as a state rep on legislation. We will miss you. Lots of us had an opportunity to interact on local politics in South Portland and Scarborough, and she was a formidable force. And we thank her for all her contributions and efforts on behalf of the people of Cumberland County, South Portland, and the state of Maine. Also would like to add on to Patty's comments. I spoke briefly about this earlier when we passed the item, but the purchase of the 27 Northgate building presented the county with an opportunity to make a generational improvement and change. Our offices and space at the courthouse have been overly cramped for years, for most of the entire 11 years I've been a commissioner. And to have the insight and the opportunity to make this happen at an affordable price, the executive staff, again, should be complimented. Equally, if not more important, we are going to place the county in a great financial situation because we are entitled and have ARPA funds that will go to the purchase and the upgrade of this building. And what that means, we contemplated the construction of a new building or the purchase of a new building, which would have been debt service of hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of 10 to 15 years. Now we won't have to encounter that. And those savings can be, over the course of time, used to fund other county projects. And it's, I think, a compliment to the ingenuity and the effort of our executive staff. So we want to thank everyone involved in that process, ongoing in the process, and we're all excited to see the finished project sometime next year out at Northport. And like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving and your families. You have an opportunity to share time with one another, wherever that may be, and hopefully in Cumberland County. But if your family is in other places, we want to wish you all well and to have a blessing of the day. And finally, I want to congratulate the Scarborough girls soccer team who won the state championship on Saturday, beat Bangor 2-0. This is two goal balls in a row. So Scarborough girls and their families and their coaches and their team, well done. And that's all I have. I'll entertain a motion to end the meeting. Do we have a second?
Second,
Catherine, call the roll.
Chair Jameson,
Yes.
Commissioner Cloutier,
yes.
and Commissioner Smith.
yes.